How are we all? Happy Sunday. Now I'm a little bit later today. I'll give a chance for people to come on. And when people come on, just make sure that they can see me and they can hear me and that the internet is working and everything's like that. How is everybody today? Is everybody good? Everybody okay? Everybody have a good... Hi, Suzanne. How's it going? You back on the train? Hi, Rach. How are you? Suzanne, you back in the train? Were you doing the train vision today? It seems a lot of people were doing... We're at the MCE update today around the world in different... I saw one in London, I saw one in Dublin, I saw one actually in New York. It's amazing, isn't it, how connected we all are. So just fire up a message there and fire up the likes and loves. Hiya, Gary, how's it going? Good to see you. I love the whole idea of your Christmas markets in around your salon. Hey, Rach. Yeah, you can hear me okay, Gary. Love those ideas of the Christmas markets. Sounds like a brilliant idea. And obviously you dressed as Santa will bring them all in. Yeah, you had a great day, Suzanne. Brilliant. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hi, Katrina. How's it going? How are you? Hiya, Trace. Hola. Hola, Trace. How are you? Won't be long now till I see you. You know, a couple of months, I think, was it now? It's like we're into November, December. Won't be long. Hi, Angela. How's it going? Good to see you. I don't know, everybody coming on today, yeah? So can everybody hear me okay? Is everybody, how's the sound? God, it's 25 on already, God, it's quite quick. You know, it's quite quick. Yes, okay, everybody can see me. Talk among yourselves. Hi, Bunzina, I never know how to pronounce your name. Can't wait, hon, yeah, it's going to be a good one, you know? Breezy Kneezy, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I am, because as much as I enjoyed, hello, how are you, Amanda? How's it going? Yeah, it's going to be great, Gary. You know, so go do a few lives. I just love the idea of the markets. I think it's fantastic. I love your little salon. I love the Hunter Group. I'm a big fan. I'll share anything from them at all times, and it's a great. I've done a day there, and they worked me to death in there. But I really enjoyed it. Hi, Angela. How are you? John, how's it going? So just before we start, obviously, you know, for any men around the world, they will know that I was a half an hour late because Liverpool were playing Man City today, and I won't gloat, but what a result. I couldn't really relax watching it because I knew I was coming on to talk to you guys. But 3-1, I will take it. I saw Pep leaving the pitch. He wasn't a happy man. You know, hey, Tracy, how's it going? Oh, God, they're all on now. How's it going, my Hungarian darling? How are you? I haven't seen you in ages. Alina, how's it going? Lots of people on today that I haven't spoken to in ages. It's great to see you. So, hi, Anne-Marie. How's it going? Welcome. Hi, Katie. How's it going? I haven't seen you for ages. Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Haven't seen you for ages, Kate. You should call in and say hi. I hope you're keeping well. Cassie, how's it going? Welcome. So tonight, I mean, there was so many... Hey, Tanya. So many people asking, your nerves were wrecked, poor Pep. Yeah, I mean, I had to say, John, I love this jacket. I love this Puma puffer. I thought it was really nice. But you know, I'm you know, sorry about you, Pep. I mean, we should have won it last year. So this year, we're in a good chance. It was the girls doing it, but you're right about your... Yeah, oh, yeah, you're a bad... Hiya, Karen, how's it going? Always great to have you on. When I see you dressed, Gary, I think of Bad Santa. Kate, call in, say hi. Hey, babes. Hola. Oh, good to see you, Kate. Good to see you. I always think of Bad Santa, Gary, when I see you. You know the movie Bad Santa, because that's what you'd be, Bad Santa. Hello, Stephanie. How's it going? You new today? Welcome. They're a nice crew, and everybody talks among each other here, and they ask each other questions. They ask, hiya, Lucy, how's it going? Knocking out some nice posts. Karen, how are you? Good to see you all. Welcome. Good to see you all on this auspicious Sunday with a 3-1 win to Liverpool. I'll send you a photo. Listen, don't send me it right now, Gary. I can imagine, you know. I think of you, you know, you're an absolute cast man. You're a cast man. So are we all present and correct? Like, look, lots of people on already. Lots of, hiya, Glennis, how are you? How's it going? So the Blonde Orange, I tried to find out when it was first released. I mean, we couldn't. I think it's the 50s. You know, it's been going forever. I mean, if you had to ask me my favourite product of all time, it would have to be Blonde Orange. And if you ask me one product that I couldn't live without, it would have to be Blondor, you know, because you know, you just, without bleach as a colourist, I mean, what are we? You know what I mean? Without bleach, what are we? You know what I mean? And without bleach that keeps the hair in good nick. 3-1, I know, Karen, get in there. Blondor, I mean. I'm great, Glennis, I'm great. It's great to see you. It's great to see you on. And thanks for coming on. Tina, how's it going? It's great to see you on. I mean, I just couldn't live without Blondor. Blondor is, it delivers for me every time. And it's a terrific product. So we're going to go through the range. Yes, bleach is our best friends, Tracy. From a bleach bath the other day, just to clean out somebody's ends with warm water, to lightening every day. I couldn't live without bleach, and I couldn't live without Blondor, because I know it's going to get me there. You know, I think the low and slow movements that we've seen over the last few years, I definitely think was spearheaded because Blondor, at the beginning, there's a lot of good bleaches out there now. But hi, Mac, how's it going? How are you? Good to see you, babes. Good to see you. I think the low and slow movement has Alison, I know it's late in Dubai. Thanks for coming on. Pour yourself a drink, my girl, and I'll try to keep a nice Dublin rhetoric for you. I will. I'll even throw in the old bucket. You know, that's a very Dublin thing to say. You know, the old Blondor bucket. You know what I'm talking about, Alison. You know what I'm talking about. Give us over the old Blondor bucket there, will you? You know, it's a Dublin thing. It's a Dublin thing, okay? But I think the low and slow movement came, but, you know, mainly, in my personal opinion, because Blondor, the performance of the bleach is high. Hello, Insa. That the Blondor, you know, will get you there, so that if you use the lower volumes and you reapply and you give it time, it'll get you to your level 9 without wrecking the hair. And it's the having, this is it. Me too. I was a big fan of Clairol Ultra Blue in the 80s and the 90s, but then once I tried Blondor, I never went back. So the first one in it, the mainstay, is the Blondor Soft, the Blondor Multi Blonde, which is the blue. Hi Russell, how's it going? Good to see you on. I sure do. I'm from Bray. We're not like that. There, you are. Go away out of that. I dated a few girls from Bray, Alison. As you can imagine, you know, I used to go out to Bray sometimes if I couldn't get. I can't actually. I won't even go there because there could be people on here. Hey Kitty. Hey Cheryl. Blondor for life. Ultra Blue. You remember Ultra Blue, Karen? The 242 or the 363. Do you remember that? That stuff was the best. But Blondor. So this is the multi blonde that can be used across the board. It's a blue colour. This one hasn't even been opened, you know. And the blue tub, you pour that bad boy in, boom, and off you go, you know, and it will never let you down. But they've since made my particularly favourite product right now, which was the bucket. The bucket of it. I mean, that was just too small for me. I was going through one of them a day. Do you know what I mean? I was easily in a day, you know, reapplying and bleach ups and stuff like this. So the Blondor tub is the daddy, okay? There was like worldwide consternation because at one stage they had to air vac these because of the powder, and when they air vac them, it created a vacuum and they were very hard to open. And it turned into... Would you like a bucket, Trace? Will I bring you a bucket? Would you prefer the bucket than the bottle? Yeah, would you prefer... You know... You tell me what you want, Trace. You tick that box. And you remember, like, so the whole world couldn't open these bottles. They were going on. You swear it was like... it was the end of the world. You know, the Ultra Blue was ammonia free. 7th stage was another blah, 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 blah. Dates a bit though. Yeah, Russell, we remember. We were back in the day. I always get the king size. So you like a bucket, okay? So there was a thing. It was like Blondor Gate, you know. Nobody could open the Blondors because they were vacuum packed because obviously there's dust in them. Now, I think they're brilliantly packaged. But you know what? It was so funny because all you had to do when open them was put some air in them. You just had to push around the top. And once you broke the vacuum, they broke. But people were taking knives to it. They were taking bombs to it. They were pushing to them. But they don't have that problem now anymore. Videos of people jumping on them. Yeah, do you remember? It was ridiculous. So when they opened, you get a little spoon with every one. Terrific. And the little plastic bag there. I always get them to cut. I always get them to cut the top off mine around there so that it's wide open, so I can scoop to my heart's content. Okay? But that was so funny. It went around the world. All you had to do was to get some air into it, and there was people, and they were all making videos, and it was so funny. It was so funny, and we made a video of just opening it like that around the corner, and sure, you know, it's like anything. Everybody's up on arms going, oh, this and that. And then when a video came out about how to actually do it, it's a bit like squeezing the tubes. Not a word. Everybody just went quiet, and we never saw it again. But before that, Blondor Gate. This is my favourite product of all time. I was a jumper. Were you a jumper? Yeah. Like, all you had to do was to let the air into them because they were vacuum packed. But now, I opened the pack. I open the pack and dump into it. Do you see? This is like how do you eat your cream egg? I empty the powder into the bucket. No wastage. No, I'm not like Alison. I that's too messy for me because the pouring and all that. I can't go there, Alison. I'd have to. Yeah, I nearly need to see a video on that. So I take the top. That's not addressed, not eyeballing mixed ratios. That makes me crazy. Yes, well, you know, there seems to be 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 1.5. You know, I'm a 1 to 1.5 man myself personally. You know, and but they have to cut this with a scissors for me. Okay, cut that with a scissors, and if we can't find the scissors in the salon, it's consternation. Do you know what I mean? It's consternation. I'm a 1 to 1.5 man, really, and I do tend to reapply. I could not. Vive le blondeur! Welcome, and vive le blondeur! I'd love to hear that. Welcome, my lovely French lady. I'm with Alison. Get rid of the plastic bag. See, if they got rid of the plastic bag, Heather, they wouldn't be able to transport it because the powder would then be loose, and you would have health and safety issues. As much as this is going to be the problem going forward, like distribution, and like if you go to a company's, are you a 1 to 1.5 man here? There we go. So who's hands up? Who's 1 to 1.5? Okay, that's me. I just like it. Rob is 1 to 2, who I work with. And it's way too runny for me. I can't even look at his bowl. I'm like, oh, no, it's not for me. I'm really sorry. It's not for me. Hiya, Maria. How's it going? But no plastic in the 400G. No, there's no plastic in this one because it's closed. It's got an automatic vacuum pack. That's got a seal on it here that you'd have to click. So they'd have to put a seal on this, and we'd be back into Blondor Gate, and there'd be people taking guns to it and putting grenades on top of it trying to open it because it's a powder. And I can't imagine, but we're going to have to face these issues because like when companies deliver products, colours, they demand that everything's put in cardboard boxes to protect their employees and their staff. And sure, you can have one product arriving in a cardboard box, and that's DHL. They demand that, and services demand that, but the world can't keep going that way. So we're gonna all have to come together on it, and I think we'll need government. When you mix too much, you consider putting your own hair because you don't want to waste it. Cheryl, I know that feeling exactly. You know when you've got 5 packets left, and you've scraped the side of the bowl, you've used the blue on the end of your brush, and you have to mix. And then you go in and you start having the bats and the chats with one of the staff. You know, you're having the crack and you're having the laugh and you're talking about a TV show, and you just pour the normal amount in because you're not even thinking, and you're mixing it and you're there, yeah. And you walk in, you look at the head, and you look down, you have a full bowl of bleach, and you've got 5 packets left. You're just so annoyed at yourself. I know, I'm not the only one that does that. You know what I mean? It's because I'm having the chats in the back. Did you hear about your one? Did you hear about that? Did you see that show? And then you're having the chats and you're just picking it up, you know. You're like, yeah, no, I knew they broken up. I knew. Yeah. 6%. Really. There you are. A bucket of bleach. How often do you remix? Yeah, I remix. I don't remix that often, you know what I mean? I tend to start with 3 or 4, and then I work my way up to 6. Usually, you know, and that's usually enough for me. I usually work my way up to 6, and you know, every single time, you're always a bucket. Where we're from in Dublin, you know, you're nothing but a bucket. But these are the greatest things ever invented. They're amazing. I've got enough. I'd say I have 18 of these in my locked away in my salon. You know, because they always do. Sometimes they do these promotions where you get 9. I think you get 9 and you get 3 or something. But like, you've nowhere to. But I can't. I'm just like, give it to me. Like, I mean, it's Blondor. I mean, it's blonde. It's not like you're not going to use it, is it? You use it every day. Hiya, Kelly. How's it going, babes? I know. Are you doing a head of hair? Yeah, are you doing a head of hair? Are you? I hope you're using the old Blondor. Now, I have worked with people. You know, I have worked with. You've cupboards full. I have. You want to see it? I'll actually. You know what? I'll take a picture. On Tuesday and Wednesday. Open up, and you want to see? I knew you were, Kelly. I knew you were. I only use 1 scoop, 1 to 1.5. I like it strong. I use about 4 or 6 balls. No waste. See, now, you're really well behaved, Tracy, but if you were working with me in the salon and we were in the back having the bats in between clients talking, going, did you see that last night in telly? I'd have you mixing it all over the place because I'm like that, and having the chats, and the next thing you know, you'll be, really? I don't believe you. And then, like, there you are with a bowl of bleach. It happens all the time. You know, sometimes, do you ever notice that sometimes you go off to mix a bit more colour and you're 20 minutes just because you've had 3 conversations, 1 in the hall, 1 where you're mixing, 1 at the basin, then you're saying hello to a client, then you're checking the next time your appointments come in, you go back in, your client's roots have actually grown out from the time you started them. That I'm a killer for that, you know, and I'm the boss. I'm an absolute killer for that, you know. I'll just go and mix a bit more colour. And she's asleep when I come back in. You know what I mean? Because I met somebody in the hall and I'm like, yeah, you chat. The desk, how you feel, what's going on, how's it going? Yeah, listen, what time is she in it? Round the corner, Debs, you're joking me. How are you? Really? Tell us all about that. Tell us, you're joking me. I knew it. I knew it wasn't water retention. I knew it. Ah, Mary at the basins, how are you? You were only in here last week. Back for your haircut today. You got your colour done last week. That's great. And you haven't even started to mix your tint yet. You're 7.0 and 7.7 tint sitting inside. She's there 15, 20. It's a nightmare, isn't it? Hairdressers, I think we just love to have a chat at times, you know. But if I have to go off and mix colour and come back, you mightn't ever see me again. That's, you might know, because I'll talk to everyone. I'll talk to everyone on the way through, you know. I talk to everyone. This is why you must never leave behind the chair when you're an educator, because it keeps us grounded. It keeps us in touch with the clients. Keeps us everything. Every little bit of me. I only has to remix the very last strand. No, it's always me. Hi, Sylvie. How's it going? We're having a Blondor love in, and we're talking about being split between clients. So it's very important to stay grounded. But then, I don't know if all of you know this one. I used to work with a guy called Carl, a terrific hairdresser. Carl, he's now in Robert Chambers on Grafton Street. He had his own salon. Hi, Elle. Hi, Sylvie. Well, I love to you. You've been travelling a lot. I saw you in China. I mean, you're getting around. I hope you get a chance to sit beside your vitamin C. I know you love to see the sea and have a glass of wine. Well, I love to all you. You know, so this is the granules. You like the on the scalp granules, Kelly. Like, I love to hear this. See, I was talking to my good friend, Mr. Edward Sweeney, who I always send a message to during the week. Hiya, Randall. You're something else on that bike, Randall. You're incredible. You're something else. I've never seen anything like you. You cycle. You cycle as much as I eat, sir. You cycle as much as I eat, which is really we could do with swapping a little bit. I love the granules too. I don't even know what price these are, but so this is a multi-blonde, but it's white and it has a coconut fragrance. Okay, so it's dust free. So I think for, you know, there's a lot of people out there who like white bleaches because if they find out it's easier for them to check through a white bleach. It's easier to see if it's a level 9 or it's a level 10. You know, there's no real difference other than that. I'd say there's probably different sulfates in it, Tracy, but it's dust free, and there's a coconut hue off it, and it's really dust free, so it doesn't, you know, you're not going to get a coughing or anything from that. Hi Alan, how's it going? You're not going to get coughing or anything like that. But mainly it's a white bleach, and people like, it's got a lovely coconut fragrance. It's very gentle. And for me, it feels, maybe because it's white and it's all visual, isn't it? But it feels like it lifts really quickly, and then it sort of takes its time. So it goes right to a 7 and then takes its time to get to a 9.5, which is, for me, the happy area, 9.5, you know? Everyone's always talking about trying to get level 10 on the page. Yeah, level 10, grey, level 10. You know, the damage you can do to hair to try and bring it above the colour of its melanin, which is naturally quite, you know, warm and yellow, is not always worth it, you know, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. But, so, this is the coconut version, so it's a white bleach, and Tracy, if you'd like to try it, there'll be one in the bag if you're interested. It's a white bleach. I am a Blonde D'Or man. I always go for the Blonde D'Or Cool. I've always checked, you gotta mix less oxidants next morning for the same amount of work. Have you? I mean, I just don't know. But well, if I didn't have this in the shop, Carl would go bananas. He had to have this. He couldn't bear the other. He couldn't bear the other type of. He couldn't bear the cool blonde. He just couldn't bear it. You know what I mean? He couldn't bear it. It's sitting there, and I wouldn't think to, like, it wouldn't. It's just getting used to using a white bleach, really, isn't it? But it's a lovely product. It's dust free. It's super popular, and for people who like white bleaches, there you go. That's it. You won't have any room in your clothes if you keep tempting me. Oh, don't be tempting me. Listen, sweetheart, I only come once a year. I can afford, and I know that this will be in the bag anyway before I even show this. This is, and I know we're well, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Wella guy all my life, a Wella person all my life. Well, not, you know, but most of my adult life. But this is the greatest, one of the greatest products that was ever invented. You know, if you do bleach ups in your salon, if you do bleach ups, I don't bring clothes anyway. I say just bring a load of shorts and stuff like that. I don't, you know, and Santa comes with me, you know yourself, because I always travel. You love the white bleach, Michelle. There you go. So you can tell us all about it. People love the white bleach. There's people, and they're so addicted. But this is, I mean, this is my only thing is I think the tube should be bigger. You know, I actually think the tube should be twice the size. But I mean, for comfort on the client's staff, on the client's scalp, and for superb lifting, well, Tracy, with me showing products like this, we'll change that, you know what I mean? I do wish the tube was bigger, Cheryl. I think the tube needs to be bigger. You know, it's a little bit, you can nearly use, like, if you've got a big head of hair, and I don't, you know, it's tight, not right. So it's a beautiful bleach. It is the most elegant. I love even watching it take, because it just takes, you know, it'll get you to an 8 and then you can just watch it. You know, it is the best bleach for bleach ups in the world, no doubt about it, 100%. Blonde D'Or's won about 17 to 20 awards. It wins all the Behind the Chair awards every year. But this bad boy is unbeatable. I mean, if you use Scalp Protect before it and you put this on, the client is not going to feel very much at all, you know, unless they're actually allergic to sulfates, you know, which is very difficult to find out. They're not going to have that, like, tight scalp, you know, they're not going to have it. And, you know, I do, because I teach, I do tend to go into different salons, and some people, they just go, because nobody comes in after 4 weeks to get their bleach up done again. I wish they would, but let's be honest, how many clients? They're always 3 months. I'd never used it. It's very powerful, Alison. But you know, the difference is, Alison, it's white. So you think, it's got an oil in it. I love washing it out. It feels greasy. This is so true. I love you guys. I love you guys. I have to tell you, I love you all. I absolutely love you all, because it's like sitting in a room with a load of hairdressers, and there's all we need is a few nibbles in the corner here, and a few glasses of wine there, and a little karaoke machine at the back, and we could go all night talking about products and having the crack. Hairdressers are great crack. Hairdressers are great fun. That's why they're so happy. They're a great breed. You lot are terrific. I have to say, you're absolutely your top drawer. You know, I love washing it out as well. I thought that was just me. I mean, I love the feel of it because it has an oil in it, you know. And this is the thing, that if you leave it to go, if it goes too old, you know, if they get really too old, I think the oil separates from the bleach a little bit. So don't keep it in sunlight is another thing I would say. Don't keep it in sunlight. Keep it. Don't have it sitting on your windowsill, you know, because there's an oil in it for protecting with scalp. And the Nioxin pre-color, or the Color Motion Scalp Protect, put them on, put this on afterwards, and she won't feel a thing till she gets to her toner. And if you use a Colour Touch toner, she won't feel that either. So you can have a really pleasant experience. I bleached a girl's hair who hadn't had a bleach up done from the 90s. I always did a platinum card on her, and then I did a sort of 8-8. I did a 7-8-9 and 2-0 into 8-8-1 into 10-8-1 on the ends. You've seen her. I've posted her on the page quite a few times. And she came back early to get her platinum card done, and she didn't have enough for root. And I said to her, "Will I just go ahead and bleach the whole thing and shallow root it, you know?" And she had this look of horror on her face, like, "Oh my God, will I have like?" This is what she said to me. She said, "Will I have like burns on my scalp, or will I have like blisters or anything like that?" And I was like, no. She said, "No, because I did a few hair competitions, and you know, I'd have blisters and you know all this type of stuff." And I was like, "No," I said, "you won't have anything like that. You could listen to me all day, Paula." Well, you know, don't be careful what you ask for, Paula. Be careful what you ask for, because that could happen. That could happen one night. I could end up on here all night, you know. So I went ahead and I used this. I used the Scalp Protect on her, and then I used the greatest bleach product of all time, and I used this on her. And she's a gorgeous looking girl, and she sat there, and I had to do it like I didn't have to do it twice because her root wasn't along. You love Sundays, Cheryl. That's great to hear. There's a bit of prep involved, but I'm getting used to it. You know, I'm getting used to it, and I absolutely love you guys. I absolutely love you. So I feel like, as I said, a couple of cheese dips, a few glasses of Vino Collapso, an old karaoke machine back there. "Oh, Annie, I'm not your daddy." And we'd be here all night, because yous are great for the questions and for talking. And it's great because we get a chance to talk about things that we love and washing off this. Yeah, no, the Color Motion Scalp Protect is boom. I mean, it's boom. It's boom, you know, because so many clients... I think he likes us, lads. Yes, no, you're right. I do. I love yous. I don't like yous. I love yous. I love yous. Instead of saying deep appreciation, I'll just go straight for the kill. I love you. Do you love you? I love you. You know I love you. There's a bit of snapper for you, Alison. There's a bit of snapper. Sing it again, Jesus. A bit of snapper for you. You know I love you, Alison. You know I love you. Okay? So if you put the Scalp Protect on, which I did, and then I put the Soft Blonde on, and I lifted it, and then I said to her about 20 minutes in, I said, "How's your scalp?" You know, as you should do. And anybody's getting a bleach up, never leave them on their own. Always mind them, because it's a big thing, you know. And she said, "I can't feel a thing." You know, she couldn't feel a thing. Rinsed it off. I toned it with 7-8-9, straight up 7-8-9 into 8-8-1, 10-8-1. Boom, it's on the page there somewhere. It was gorgeous. And she said to me, "That was incredible." You have your red earphones in. Yeah, I like that. I like to never use the cream. How much is it? I think the cream retails in Ireland, I think that's about a tenner. 10 or 12 quid. I do think they could do with making it like, you know, a larger a larger. I mean, you're going to get 2 heads out of that. I think maybe 3 if you're reapplying, maybe 4. I don't know. It depends on how good you are with bleach. I tend to use, again, we're back to me having the chats and the bats, and I go off and I mix a bit more bleach, and the next thing you know, I'm talking about, you know, you're one round the corner and him up the roads. You know what I mean? I keep getting signals. Well, it hasn't gone off here, babes. It hasn't gone off because it usually comes up on my screen that the signal is weak. So hopefully it's okay for other people, but it hasn't gone off here. There's, how's it going? Hiya, Stace, how's it going? You're getting signal interruptions, but okay. Well, it's nothing coming up from me on my side, so let's just hope that I'm getting interruptions. Let's just hope it's not too... I'll just keep rolling away and hopefully it'll clear itself up. You know what I mean? It'll clear itself up. There's 50 people on. There's a lot of people online. Okay, you're getting signal interruptions as well. So it's just as well with me singing that you're getting interruptions as well. So that's the Blonde or Soft Blonde Cream. I think it retails at about 10 or 11 euro. So I don't know what that is in your country. Okay, you completely missed that. Well, you know, you'll get that on the repeat, Sam. You'll probably get that on the repeat. Yeah, it's okay. Is it okay now? Okay. I've used it. Will I go back over the Blonde or Cream again, guys? Would you like me to go back over that again? It's all okay here. It's okay for you? Okay. What do you think of using lift from 7 banding goal to 9 close to the scalp? Do you think of using it to lift from a level 7 banding? I don't know. I'd have to look at it. Do you know what I mean? I'd have to look for it. Hiya, Salas. How's it going? It's very quick coming back on. It's very quick coming. Signal is good here. Okay. Signal is good. Okay here, Suzanne. All right. So, anyway, that was hi, Leo. How's it going? Such a fan. Love your work, sir. I think you're great. And I love your enthusiasm, man. Big hugs to you. When I'm in Amsterdam, I will definitely be calling in to see you in the salon. I think you're great. You're great, bro. Hope you're keeping well. No, you're all good now. Okay, I'm all good now. It could have just been my vibe, you know what I mean? It could have just been, how's it going, Marta? How are you? Happy Sunday. Okay now, happy Sunday. So, to cut a long story short, she had an amazing experience, which is what it's all about for a customer. And, you know, she's going to be coming back to her mates going, you know what, didn't even sting me. You know, now she's a nice base. She's a base 6. I wouldn't say she's a lot of phelo melanin, a lot of elo melanin. In other words, she's a lot of the blue melanin because it lifts quite well. But you never know this till you get in and start colouring, do you? This is the thing. And we're going to talk about that. It was the singing, Alison. I think you're probably right. You know, that was Kid Creole and the Coconuts. That was my inner Peter Kay coming out, you know. I know certain people, 13 vol. I find 13 vol will lift the same as 20 vol on scalp bleaches. Hiya, Michael. How's it going, my man? I tend to use I've started to use the new 4% in Colliston Perfect. I've used that with this. I've used the 6 with it. I tend to use 4 or 6 with it. I don't know why. I just tend to, you know, and then I'll reapply if I need to, you know, that type of stuff. But it is the best product if you do bleach ups. Invest in it. It's not that expensive. As I say, it's the same. It's a little bit more expensive than a tube of colour, but not a lot more expensive than a tube of colour. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Amazing. Couldn't live without it. Couldn't. And again, I love washing it off. I always use it with 6. I like to use it with 6. Now, here's a product that not all of you would probably know. Okay? Okay, Marta, good to see you sending out the loves, babes. You're great. You're great stuff. Great stuff. Michael, I hope you're keeping well. Right, so this is called Blonde or Meshes, okay? So the best way to describe this, it's taste. Yeah, you prefer it to bleach powder? Okay. Do you find it's kind of around condition? I do, Alison, because it's got an oil in it. I find the Blonde or products in general, the Blonde or products in general are very, very good in the hair. Hi, Teresa, South African love to you, babes. Hope you're keeping well. But it's so comfortable for the client. Galini, how are you, my man? No Malak is on tonight so far. Thank you, sir. No Malak is on tonight. Galini, I know you're travelling. Is it to Cincinnati? No Malak is on tonight so far, so it's good. It's good. I hope you're keeping well. It's a stunning scalp bleach. We do quite a few. I suppose we do two. We do maybe two. You've never heard of the meshes. So these are like, these were supposedly sort of created to be a very, very gentle and fast, quick lift. So you mix them with a powder and you mix them with a cream. So there's a cream in it. See, there's a cream. So it's like a half tube of the cream mixed with with one of these powders, and it will lift. It'll lift you. So it's higher than a high lift, but not as strong as a bleach, and the condition is perfection. So you know, you have that person, if they have tinted highlights and they're like, I don't want it, that's a new for me. Okay, meshes, yes. Is this the one that stops working? Yes, it stops working after 15 minutes, Rachel. Very well spoken again. Nothing but love for you guys. You're absolutely amazing. A room full of heroes tonight. I need a hero. I want Alison, that was for you. That was for you. They lift after 15 minutes and then they stop, and they're very, very popular for the, you know, the client who maybe gets like a 12-1 high lift highlight, you know, and it gives them a nice golden blonde, and they'd like it just a little bit lighter, but they don't want the nakedness of bleach, and they don't want to have to be toned, you know, they don't want to be a bleach and get a toner and all that type of stuff. They still want to be, I sang earlier, Kelly, and the signal went mental, you know. That's what happens when you've got, you know, when you've got lungs like mine, you know. So if you have that client who's like, I'd love my highlights that little bit lighter, is it like, it's very like that product, but it's very like the product you've just said there, Karen, but I would say it's much better on the condition, where I find that product you're talking about there, just in case I say it, like, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to affect my multi-million-pound contract, you know, my multi-million-pound contract about what I talk about, you know. But it would be very similar, Karen, but it's so gentle on the hair. So if you do have that client going, I'd love a little bit more lift on my 12-1 highlights, but I don't want to go in and getting bleaches done, this is the product. Give it a go. Give it a go, and it will not give you a naked highlight, so it'll have a very strong undertone still there. It'll just give you that nice coffee, you know, just that little bit higher coffee. Not to mention those who cannot be named. That's exactly, it sounds like something out of Game of Thrones, doesn't it? It sounds like something out of Game of Thrones. I don't know if any of you watched The Deuce. You know, it's a fantastic TV show, but it had the music of Game of Thrones in it last night. And I've been thinking about Game of Thrones all day because of it. You know, what a show anyway. Just do a show for us, Papa. I will, Martha. I will. One day I will. I swear I will. I'll get dressed up and I'll do something. You know, you guys will name it. So that's what it is. You mix it with the powder. You mix it with the bleach. It's not as bright as a bleach. It's not as dark as a high lift for it, and it's only for highlights. It lifts in 15 minutes, and the condition is incredible. These are awesome. You can't get them in every country, as we can't get stuff in every country, but you can get it in a lot of countries, you know, a lot of countries. Then we come along to, I think this is up there with one of the most popular bleaches for balayage. You know, it's very, very popular. Jane Wallace, who's a terrific balayage artist, really rates it, and it's one of those. It's a really, really awesome product. So this is the Blonde or Free Lights. Now, if you're not, what base does it open from? I like it from a base 6 up, but I mean, I've used it on bases 4 and 5, but it'll be very warm on those. Sorry, you have the wrong thing here. It'll be very warm on those bases, Salas. You know what I mean? Because it really is just, it's a little bit lighter than a high lift. It's not as light as a bleach. You know, it's a little bit lighter than high. I don't think it would be enough for the bases you're working on. Really, because, you know, Cypriot hair, they're very, very dark, and they have loads and loads of phelomelanin in their hair. In other words, the red pigment. Loads and loads. Hiya to you, how's it going? I like it from base 6 up, you know, but I've used it on 5s and stuff like that. And it's just a lovely product. It lives gorgeous, 15 minutes and stops taking. Boom. It's gorgeous. Give it a go. So here we have the famous Free Lights. You're welcome, Salas. You are more than welcome. I'm here to help. So this this, if you're not a brilliant balayageur, like if you're not like a natural balayageur, if you're more of a foiler like I am, you know, I'm old school, I'm more of a foliageur, you know. Alison, you Freelights, you use a lot of this, so you can answer a few questions for me here. But Martha, Freelights is completely and utterly better for balayage. As I say, if you're not a natural balayageur, you really need to use. You've got to let it lift. You really need to use, and you've got to do something to cover it, because you've got to do something to cover it. I mean, people just leave it fresh air; it's not going to lift. You know, if you need lift, you need insulation. Okay. And, you know, and that's something we need to actually, that's a really good question. Really, really, really good question. Is, you know, I think if you're doing a lot of freehand work and you really want to perfect in your freehand work, I think to look at using Colour Renew beforehand and cleaning all the minerals and everything off the hair. If you have that opportunity to do that, I know in the States it's very, very popular that they use many different brands for cleaning the hair. I actually have the Magma shade chart here with me, Salas, so we're going to have a quick run through about Magma tonight, and I'm going to do a proper thing on Magma again. But we're going to have a quick run through about Magma, because I promised you lovely, lovely people last week that we'd have a quick run through, and we will. So it's very much product based tonight. It's not all Andrew reaching in and touching your soul every Sunday. It's not all, even though there could be a bit of that, because I have a few things written down that I've obviously, you know, from me doing my walks in the morning now, I have a few things going through my head that I'm road testing, and they're always there. Hiya Jenny, how's it going? I hope you're keeping well. So if you're not a brilliant balayageur, you know, if you're not like a brilliant balayageur, you need to be looking at clay bleaches, you know, to use, because they're so much better than a normal bleach for painting, because you just paint them on and they stay where they are. Now you obviously need to reapply, and you need to reapply, and you need to reapply, and it needs to be heavy, because if the lotion ain't white, it ain't light. Okay, so these are the things that you need to be careful of. So yeah, it's very, very hard to free. Well, you can do freehand techniques in a foil, you know. I've watched Jane doing that. You can do freehand techniques in a foil. And for anybody who's looking for proper lift on someone from a base 5 or a base 6 or a base, which is most of us here, are doing sort of back home foils, back home weaves, back home V's, and putting them in packets to make sure they get the lift. But if I was just doing freehand all day, every day, and I wanted to perfect my freehand, I'd be looking at cling film, and I'd be looking at using Colour Renew first for 10 or 15 minutes, because the hair and the standard of the water around the world is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I love this for balayage, you know, but I will always put something to isolate it to make it lift, you know, to make it lift. I mean, just this week we had a boil. I mean, Ireland's one of the wettest countries in the world, and we had a boil notice because of our boil notice in half of Dublin, 600 houses, mine included. Because the water wasn't at the level it should be, and we're one of the wettest countries in the world. So if we're having issues, I mean, I can't, you know, the water and the pipes are full of copper, they're full of iron. You mix up a hot water and a copper pipe, and that copper just melts onto the hair, and it's nearly impossible to get it off. I went swimming this morning, and I used the Solar shampoo in System Professional, because it removes chlorine from my body, and it uses chlorine from my hair. So I just suds my whole self up with this Solar, and then I take it out, and you can actually smell the chlorine coming off. If chlorine's in hair for over 24 hours, it's in there for good. It doesn't come back out. So it's so difficult. Hiya Kay, great to see you. The water in East Cork I've come across. So green hair all over the place. Does it come in large tubs? No. This is what it comes in. The Freelights comes in this, you know. But again, if it ain't white, it ain't light. Okay, and you need to reapply. And if you're using something freehand and open air, well, you need to use a higher volume of peroxide than you would if you put it in a packet. So I think if you're using freehand, I certainly from talking to some of the top balayage artists from the States, it's not unusual for them to be using 12 or 18% freehand open air. It's not unusual. Or 50 vol, as you'll see, 50 vol is now being released again for a lot of the balayage artists. So for a lot of them, they'll use something to remove the minerals and to remove everything from the hair before they even start, 10 or 15 minutes. Then they dry the hair off, then they get it ready for painting, and then they reapply, and then they put cling film in between each section to get a lift. Like, I mean, there's a whole system there. It's not just a matter of painting a bit on and then just going, oh, that didn't lift, you know. If you do that, only expect to get 3 or 4 shades lift, you know, if you get a 7 to a 9 or a 9 to a 10. But if you want to get superb lift, you need to prepare the hair, have it clean, have it perfectly clarified, and then you need to put your product on, use a higher volume and reapply. And remember, if it ain't white, it ain't light, so you have to put it on. But it is a beautiful product to paint with, particularly if you're not an amazing painter. Where I'm an amazing foliager. I wouldn't be an amazing painter. I don't consider myself a pro balayage artist like Jonathan. I don't know if Jonathan's on the thread tonight, or Jane, or, you know, so Alison. It will go orange. I'll reapply. There's no harm in using a higher volume. It's not the end of the world to use 12% freehand with this, okay? It's not the end of the world. It's a beautifully made product and it can handle it, you know? The lotion we have for it here, as you can see in the shop, is 12, okay? So we use 9 and 12 with free lights all the time. It has its own specific lotion. And what happens is it dries on the outside, you know, when you're using it, it dries on the outside, and then it's moist on the inside, so it looks quite hard on the outside. So that's what clay bleaches do, you know, so they do dry, they look like they dried out on the outside, but reapply. If it ain't white, it ain't light. So bad, I'll watch it back when I get home. No problem, Suzanne. I hope you had a great day, and you can watch it later. You know, you can watch it later. Hiya, Violet. Okay, so Free Lights is supersonic. It's definitely one of the best paint bleaches out there. There is another bleach called Cool Blonde. I think it's called extra Cool Blonde. It's called. It's not for sale in Ireland, so therefore I don't have a bottle of it. And it has, so it will be. Lee's an incredible painter. Lee will give you a few tips there. Lee's one of the best painters around. He's an incredible painter. Lee will give you a few tips there. It's beautiful condition. I haven't bleached the hair. It's like the Blonde range. It just leaves the hair perfection. Nobody makes bleach. I'm sorry, nobody makes bleach like this. Nobody makes bleach. Bleaches and they're watery and falling apart, and they wreck the hair and they give you the lift. I don't know. But there's this Extra Cool Blonde, which I feel was I've used Extra Cool. It was in Paris once. I was doing a gig for Sebastian, and there was an Extra Cool. And what it feels like to me is it feels like it's kind of like a magma, but a magma that has like a green blue undertone in it. So it has a very strong green undertone, and then it's secondary. So it would be like if it was a magma, it'd be like a stroke 2.8. Do you know what I'm saying? So it would be like magma stroke 2.8. So it's full on. You wouldn't want to use it on any basis above 6.0, or they would probably they would have a green visual on them. You know what I mean? Because you'd need to have like they're all about the phelomelanin. You know, they're all about attacking the phelomelanin. And if you don't have that much phelomelanin, and you've more elomelanin, then you're probably going to see the green. And this is where Extra Cool, that's why I'm bringing it up. Extra Cool tends to be used now, because it's super strong. It tends to be used and added to the Free Lights, okay? So, I mean, I've seen many people adding magma to the Free Lights, which is not recommended by Wella, but loads of people do it, okay? But the Extra Cool is a part of the Blonde D'Or family and is recommended to be mixed with Free Lights. So if you have Extra Cool Blonde, Extra Cool, can you explain to you? You can mix it on your own. Again, it has an undertone of green, blue, or you can use it to be mixed with Free Lights, which is what it is generally used for. Salas, great question again, sir, which is generally used for. So if you have Extra Cool Blonde in your market, a little bit of that. Yeah, no, Lee Quinn is a beautiful painter. You know, Lee and Jonathan, and you know, there's a certain type of person, because you need to be doing it all day, every day. If you want to be a painter, you gotta paint. You know, if you want to be a hairdresser, you gotta do hair. If you want to be brilliant, you gotta be behind a chair. You know, you gotta do your job every day. But it is really, really, really good mixed in with this. You know, because there's different types of sulfates give you different types of lift. You know, so if you have extra cool, maybe it would be nice to invest in it and to be able to mix it with free lights. But to remember, preparation of hair before balayage is everything. And with Colour Renew now, you can clean all the minerals and get to have the hair canvas perfect before you're painting. And it will definitely give you more shades of lift than it would trying to get into hair, because the water, as we say around the world, is only getting dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. But it's very, Marta, it's very, very popular mixed in. And I asked Eddie during the week that how did Wella feel about that, and Eddie said we feel that it's good, you know. And if Eddie said it's good, then it's good, you know, because Eddie's Eddie. Yeah, hi Jane, how's it going? I was just talking about you. One of the best painters out there, beautiful painter. A lot of people like to use stroke 8-9 in with free lights. Wella's attitude to that would be that you know, you get 7 shades lift with this, and with Magma you get 6, so it could weaken the lift. That's there, you know, from a chemist's point of view, it could weaken but then the undertone what might tone for you, so it might you know, you might feel great, you know. 8-9 plus, now that's a different game altogether. Hiya, how's it going? Good to see you. But if you have Cool Blonde in your market, I mean, Cool Blonde sounds quite scary to me, you know, but I can understand. I used it that day in Sebastian and it got lift for me. I was using it on an Asian hair, and the shoot was for the Colour Ignite shoot, which was the Asian girl that I did blue and red at the time, and it got me there, and without it I probably wouldn't have got there, you know. That's quite okay, Lisa Marie, it's quite okay. You can watch back. Hello, first time in ages I'm catching you live. I was just talking about you, Janie. I was just talking about you because you did that little test of free lights and a few different bleaches, and you found that it lifted just the same. But obviously, and you'd be more of an expert in this than I am, you know. I think Cool Blonde would be really good for you, Salas, in Cyprus, and you know, really good for darker bases. It was really, really good for but it's very good as a mixture, as an additive. So maybe if you're a person who uses Magma 8-9 plus or 8-9 mixing with this, supposedly that could weaken it. If you get the Cool Blonde, you can mix it in with this and give it a go. Yeah, Jane, one of Jane's many experiments. Jane's a beautiful painter, and Jane will tell you like about getting the canvas right and all that type of stuff. And so I mean, it's a brilliant bleach. But if you can't get the Cool Blonde, add the Cool Blonde into it. I'm not quite sure. I could imagine in countries like parts of Europe and stuff like that, it's such a strong bleach, you know, that if you use it on base 6 above, it will go green. And I've heard many people it scares the living daylights out of them. So I'm not quite sure. I've never used it, you know, and I don't really feel I really need it, you know, but certainly if it's in your market, you can try it with free lights. That's all I will say. But the Blondor range, so we've gone through the soft blonde, we've gone through the multi-blonde granules, we've gone through my obvious favourite, you know, the bucket. I mean, I couldn't live without this bad boy here. And then the most popular product in the salon, if I have it in, I never get a week out of this if it comes into the salon. I never get a week out of this. This is the most popular service post, yeah, in the salon, because it has these limpids in it, and it also removes the sulfates from the hair before you tone. So it has a little bit more than the normal service post. And I think the Magma one has something in it to close down the pigments. So it has something again, you know, so it's a different product again. But this Seal and Care Shine Conditioner is the most popular Don't mix too much into free lights, it'll go runny. Good. Thanks, Alexa. Good tip. Good tip. Just a sprinkle. Just a sprinkle. Because I suppose it can affect the clay, can't it? It can affect the clay. But this is one of the most popular and most beautiful products. I don't know if any of you have, if you've used this, but if you put this on after your highlights, after your bleach ups, after any blonde or product, it will remove all the sulfates from the hair, drop the pH back down, and deposit the lipids back. And the hair is incredible. It's a product that all I would say is buy a bottle and just use it. Because you can use it, you can use it as a conditioner. It can be a finishing conditioner. It's not as watery as the other services posts. You like the Magma Post? I was going to ask tonight what's your favourite? Is it the Magma Post or the Blonde Or Post? You know, I'll bring the Magma Post home another day. You know, but see this stuff. This stuff is so addictive. You start wanting to put it on everything. You know, you can't help yourself. But I mean, if you've done a beautiful head of highlights, and you know you're going to go in and tone it, you know you're going to go in and do a beautiful, beautiful melt, and you put this bad boy on for 5 minutes, you actually get kind of excited because you know your toner's going to take so perfectly. You can just chillax, you know what I mean? I had one last week. I was going in with 881 on the root, and then I was going in with 916 and 106. I still have the picture on my phone. I'll be posting it this week. I wash my own clients if I'm free at the salon. If I'm free, I think it's really a good thing if you're free to wash your own clients. And I was putting this on, and it just went right into the highlighted hair. I actually posted it already, so I'll tag you where I used to see it in Cairns. And it just left the hair so incredibly perfect. And then I just melted. It was a dream then to melt or tone, whichever you want to call, because I wasn't doing a dark route, but I did an 881 into 916, 106. Beautiful toner. The 916, we were talking about it earlier, me and Tracy. I don't think there's a better colour out there for toning, you know, because it has that double barrel. It has the 1, it has that cool neutral, and then it has the 6, that little bit of violet, and it just removes the yellow, and it's stunning. And if you feel it's even a little bit too heavy and you want something that's a little bit more pasteurised, I would recommend adding 106 into it. And I use 916 and 106 and colour touch on the ends of a lot of hair, and you'll see the shine on my kind of pictures. But this is absolutely and utterly unbelievable. Okay, invest in a bottle, try it, and then post and tell me how you get on, because it is stunning, absolutely stunning. It's not cheap, I won't lie, it's not cheap, but it's worth it. You know, it is really worth it. Once you've used it once, don't let somebody else use it. Go to the basins, wash your highlights yourself, 2 pumps of that, put it in, and you'll be like, oh my god, incredible. So that's, I think, nearly the whole Blonde Or range there that we've covered. Hero product of all, of course, for me is the bucket, and just very, very neck and neck. It is the soft blonde, which I used to have such fears of bleach ups, particularly when I'm not in the salon, because I'm a salon owner, and they there's an awful lot of chemicals, and there's a double process, and they're getting colour afterwards. You're really worried that it goes well and the clients are well taken care of. But this reduces my anxiety level by at least 50%, so I would pay anything for that. The only thing I would say is a little bit of a bigger tube mightn't be a bad idea, but then again, with the oil in it, it does dry out, and it's not a product to keep there for years, so maybe you're better to just buy a few of them and keep them there. Maybe that's a better thing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking about that as I'm talking to you, so maybe that's it, because the oil can't separate from the bleach if it's left in the sunlight too long, you know. But it's beautiful. I'll be bringing a few of these over to you, Tracy. You ever go up the chair, you'd be mint as a salesman. Yeah, I'd expect a basket from the Blonde Or family this week arriving into the salon. Anyone out there who's watching UK and Ireland, or straight from Geneva, if a box of Blonde Or arrives with an awful lot of goodies in the thank you for the heads up, that will be okay. I will gratefully receive it. We will even talk about receiving again tonight. Massage the tube. Don't. It feels amazing. So that's the Blonde Or range, and whoever asked me to do the last week. I think it was Marta. Was it you, Marta? I think it was you, Marta. Whoever asked me to go over the Blondor range like that, I thank you very much. Get in there, lad. You know what I mean? I don't miss an opportunity. There'll be one for everyone in the audience one of these days. You know what I mean? But we're a big audience here. We're 23,000 and growing. You know, but yeah, that's whoever asked the question for me to about the Blondor. Thank you so much, because I've really enjoyed. I've really enjoyed. Very Blondor. I prefer the Blondor cream very rare. I use the Blondor powder. Yes, me too. It was you, Marta, was it? Well, thank you so much, because I really... Hiya, Cherie, how are you from Australia? I don't know what time it is there. Hope you're keeping well. I really enjoyed bringing all the products home and going through. And as I said, this is everything in the range except for the Cool Blonde. It's the only one we don't have. I don't feel we really need it, but it would be handy to put in free lights a little bit. And the tip for free lights, clarify the hair and have it in good shape before you balayage, and they will lift better. Hair is so full of impurities at the moment. And in fact, in Illumina, they're working at blocking copper from going into the hair, so that long term, when you use when you be able to use tints, it will actually block the copper that's in all the water from the pipes around the world from going into the hair long term, and that will make our lives an awful lot easier. But that's how big a problem it is that the chemists in Wella and everywhere else are looking at ways to block copper from going into the hair. Now I'm going to grab the Magma shade chart, okay? 6:30 a.m. in the morning, is it? 6:30 in the morning. I get up at that time, so I don't feel too bad. It's good. I see Cool Blonde is really made for dark bases like Asian hair and stuff like that. And I'd imagine if you had people putting it on 6.0s, if you put it in Norway or Spila had it over there, you would definitely get green highlights. Definitely, because of that undertone of 2.8. So it would be a product that would have to be massively respected. Here, I'll grab the Magma chart, okay? Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. The difference between post and service post is that this will remove the sulfates from the hair as well, you know. So service post will drop the pH balance down and make the hair nice and even. 11:35 at night here, Alison. Sure, you're that's not a bother. You'd be just watching Netflix, wasting your time. You'd be watching Netflix. You're better off spending it with me, babes. You're better off spending the later hours with you know, with himself here, babes. You know, you'll sleep well after listening to my dulcet Dublin tones. You know, but yes, it removes the sulfates, Marta. It removes the sulfates, as well as everything else. It removes the sulfates. So that's the difference. Okay, so Magma. So many people. You always see the fabulous Marteus. He puts different colour magmas in the bowl, you know, and he tries to get us to guess which one it is, and you can see the different magmas. You know, that's the 7.5, you know. You can see the different ones and the different colours there. Do you have to shampoo it out before the toner? You don't, you just rinse it. You just rinse it. Just rinse it out, Trudy. You don't have to shampoo it. Kelsey, how's it going? Good to see you, babes. How are you? So, again, I think Magma, I'm not sure who mentioned Magma last week. But the thing is with Magma, it like how a dye molecule can survive the bleaching process. So it's a really specific dye molecule that can survive the bleaching process. So it's a very different dye molecule than a normal dye molecule in a colour. It's completely different, you know. So it takes differently. It is just completely different. So a lot of people, the problem with Magma is they think it's going to take like colour. And they put 4.4 on, and they think it's going to be like sort of red, soft red, you know, gets redder as it goes along. It's just red, you know what I mean? So the key to getting different tonality, I know tonality isn't actually a word, but we'll use it here anyway. The key to getting different tonality with Magma is to keep your volumes low, okay? My preferred volume with Magma is 1.9 or 4%. I rarely use 6, And I tell you what it's actually brilliant for. You know, if you have somebody who has, say, natural hair, and then halfway down they have a tint growing out, and you just want to give them a nice caramel highlight, so say it's like 7.75 and 9%, okay? So you do your 7.75, 9%, do it down like that, and then you mixed up Magma 1.7 with 1.9 lotion, and just painted it on the ends, you know? It will cut through the old tint for you, and it can make a colour correction. It can make a colour correction really quite easy. So you can sort of give them a nice caramel highlight, you know. But the key is keep your volumes low, that you can create your tonality with different volumes, not, you know, not any other way. People constantly to see Magma as like a colour, but it is not like a colour. So different strengths and different volumes create different reds, you know, they create different reds. And once you start to think of it like that, it's an incredible product. It's an incredible product. And I couldn't not have it in my salon. I did see your cherry tutorial, Jane. I did see your cherry tutorial with Magma, and then your overlay was a beaut, you know. But you're a beautiful lady, baby. You're a beautiful lady. Okay, Magma. Spectacular. Okay. My favourite Magma is 1.7. Okay? You wish to start using it. Okay. Is 1.7. So a lot of people would automatically start going up here, thinking, okay, I want to get this type of lift. You know what I mean? But it's a powerful, powerful product. And my recommendation is to go for the lowest volume. And if it doesn't lighten, you can always mix a little bit more and reapply. Tone, personality. I don't know. I think it's like musical tunes, Karen. But tonality is, I'm not sure. It's one of those words that hairdressers use that isn't really a word, I think. You know, it's a bit like a autumnal, you know, it can mean an awful lot of things, you know, but it comes in handy in a consultation at times, you know. Yeah, no, those nice autumnal tones, which is autumn tones, which is basically every colour in the world, okay? So when people say nice autumnal colours, you're kind of leaving yourself open to it being anything from copper to brunette, and you're laughing, okay? So there's a tip from Andrew on Sunday. Autumnal tones, you can't go wrong. Yes, it's autumnal. Look out the window right now, autumnal. You know what I'm saying? But start with 1.9, okay? Start with 1.9 and work your way up. So if you're putting it on a tint, you know, you can always go off and mix a little bit of 4, you know, and go over it. You know what I mean? You can mix a little bit of 6. But if you put it on with 9% and it lifts like boom, really high, really quickly, you can't go back then. You're trying to tone it back down. And it is a bleach product, okay? It isn't a product that's straight, you know. It's a bleach product, and it can lift, you know, if you choose the wrong volume peroxide, it can lift really quickly, really fast, and then you're going to spend a lot toning it back down. But, like, so start with the lowest possible volume, and you can always go and mix up a little bit more, like I do. Go off and mix up a little bit more and disappear for half an hour because you're having the chats again. I'm on your page. I must have missed it. Okay. So this is the 1.7, which I find is it gives you a lovely caramel, particularly if there's like some underlying red pigments on all depths. Even if they're I might start with a 4%, Maria, if it's like a base 4, you know. But Marius, I might start with a 4%, but I won't go above that. But usually 1.9 kind of gets me there. I use it a lot for bleeding on the ends. So say I would use a 7.75 and 6% highlight, and then I would bleed halfway down with 1.7. So I get a 7.75 into 1.7. You know what I'm saying? And it just gives me that sort of gorgeous, you know, like a blade of grass that's faded, you know, over the summer. You get that sort of into lighter, you know. So I use Magma a lot for that, you know. And it's very, very popular. So that's the 1.7. Okay, it's the 1.7. And then there's the 3.9 and the 3.9 plus. So that's the gold pastel. It's a beautiful tone. Again, people are looking at this thinking, that won't be light enough. I'm going to go in and use 12%. And then it's too light. So start with the lowest. How do you pitch peroxide? I always start with 1.9 or 4%. Alistair. Alistair. Always start with 1.49%. And then if I need to go higher, I mix up a little bit more with 6% and I go over that and I do a little bit of paint and a little bit of smudging. You know, it's nice. The most popular one is definitely 8.9 and 8.9 plus. Now 8.9 plus is designed for bases 3, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it has a really, really strong underlying pigment. If you were to put it on a base 6.0 above, I've seen this on the page many times, the hair will have a blue tinge off it because it's designed for darker bases. And you'll see one on the page going, what happened here? This product doesn't work. But they didn't read about the product. They didn't learn about it. So there's two of them. There's 8.9 and there's 8.9 plus. There's 3.9, there's 3.9 plus. So for the very dark bases, 3, 4, 5 max, you can go with the pluses. But I find you don't need them that often because I find that, like, I would consider these part of the Blonde D'Or family. You find that the 3.9 and the 8.9 perform really, really, really well. How does it lift the same in foils? Well, nothing lifts the same freehand, Alistair, as it doesn't in foils. Anything isolated is going to lift quicker and faster and better, as we all know. So nothing will lift the same open air. Nothing at all, because it's open air. So it will lift in relation to your technique, and we're going to talk a little bit about technique there as well tonight, I think. But I don't know, this is a biggie, isn't it? This is all product tonight. What are we looking at? We're not too bad. Okay, are we all still on? Everybody still there? Okay, so this is the 4-4. I love 4-4. I have a lot of clients who have dark bases, like they're the 5.0 bases, and they love to have red streaks through their hair, like a red through their parting, and they're that type of lady. They'll always have a dark tint, no matter what age they are, they'll always have a dark tint, and then they have that red pigment. No problem, Alistair, no problem at all. They'll always have that, that red, that type of client is usually really well dressed, and, nice makeup, and that type of, and they like a bit of red. They like a bit of red, and they don't like a bit of burgundy. They like a red. They like a Ferrari. They don't want the copper. They don't want to. They deserve a basket from Geneva tonight. Yeah, I do. Yeah, a weekend away with the kids. Bring the kids to Geneva. That would be a nice experience. So 4-4, that type of client. And she likes it red. She doesn't like a copper. She doesn't like a plum. She doesn't like a purple. She likes it red. And she's looking at you saying, I want it red. And she picks out red. And you give her red. And it is red. So Rob, my good friend and workmate, he does one, and her tint is like I think it's like a 5. I think it's 571. I think it's like a mixture of 471 and 571, and then it's 4.4 magma, and he uses 6 or 9% on it. So he goes quite light in it because it's her base. I mean, she's getting her tint done every 2 or 3 weeks. So even though it's a 5.0, it looks more like a 3 or a 4.0. Get in there, Jane. Get in there with a couple of mixes, Jane. Get in there, babes. Get in there. Get in there. I'll come over and visit you, Jane, for a day. We'll go live all day and we'll have the crack, okay? And then there's, which is absolutely beautiful, is a stroke 6.5, which, the 6.5s in Wella are very, very famous. The 5.5, 6.5, no, but they're a very famous range because they're so beautifully violet. And this magma is no different. It is an absolutely gorgeous violet, the stroke 6.5, isn't it? It's absolutely stunning. Absolute 3, 6 and 5, 6. Get in there, Alexa. Get in there. Yeah, we'll go live all day, Jane. See your new page that you're setting up. I'll have thousands on it for you. You'll be worth a fortune. You'll be bringing me away with the kids, sweetheart. Now, my second favourite is the stroke 07. I love stroke 07 because you just have that little bit of depth and that little bit of 7, and it's a lot warmer than it looks there, in my experience. You have to remember with magma, you're actually putting it on usually tinted hair, so there's quite a strong undertone. So the undertone's going to come up. So you can know, that's why I think I like the 1.7, because I know it's not going to come up too warm. The 0.7's going to come up a lot. These are all going to come up a lot warmer, depending on the undertones. You're on a roll tonight, am I? Sanis, great, or Alaska? Yes, she is. Thanks. I'm just probably the same. So the 0.7 is my second favorite. It's a caramel. You know, it's a perfect caramel. We don't have that many colour in Australia. Well, see, you know, you will have, because there's things like this going on and people will be asking for them and they'll buy them, you know. And then there's the Stroke 7.3, which is a real gold, you know. It's again, I would recommend using a low volume on this, and you'll get a real like espresso coffee vibe off it. It's lovely in like a 5.4, 5.75 bass in the background with a little bit of 7.3 and pastel highlights, zigzag, back home. Forget about it. Pictures, 150 million likes, you know. It's beautiful. But again, it's that tree, you know, it's got that little bit of gold in it, so I would recommend making sure their skin is sallow so they can handle that little bit of yellow. You know, people are often using trees and they use it on the wrong skin tone, and then they're bringing a bit too much yellow into the hair, and they're a bit too much. I'm always on a roll. Thank you, Salis. Thank you. And then my third favourite is the Stroke 7.5, which my good friend Matthias absolutely loves as well. Now the Stroke 7.5 is, it's like the inside of a beautiful tree. You know, a beautiful rich tree. Like it's just, again, it's lovely then on bases like a 5.4, you know. Like a 5.4 and a 5.7 mixed together, you know, or a 5.74 or a 5.47, you know, those beautiful overtones, and then a 7.5 like highlight in between it. Especially if it's tinted, it just gives a gorgeous mix. Keep your volumes low. You can always go back over it and get a little bit more lift, but if you start up here, then you're going to have to tone to go back. Now, Relights was specifically made to tone Magma back in the day, but it has now turned into like one of the biggest products in the Wella range, and acidic toners are a massive thing for me. So then there's a there's a limoncello now, which is not on this web, which is a yellow, and it's a beautiful colour. It's not on this shade chart, but there's limoncello as well, which came out, you know. And then this is a very popular mix, is 4 and clear, which just gives you a different type of red. You know, it gives you a slightly copper feel to the red. You know, it gives you slightly copper feel, you know, to it, and that's very popular. And then there's other Magmas in different parts of the world. There's Stroke 5.6. There used to be a Stroke 5.7. I mean, the Stroke 7.5 is very similar to the Stroke 5.7. I would say it's a nicer colour. So a lot of people would have missed it. Hiya, Sophie. A lot of people would have missed Stroke 5.7 when it went, but Stroke 7.5 is a perfect. It's an upgrade, to be honest with you. But the key to Magma is to keep your volume low, and you can always reapply a little bit more with a little bit of higher volume if it's not working. The best thing to do is to do half your head and then look back and open it up, and you'll see whether it's lifting or not. I had one the other day, a beautiful Asian girl, and she had an old tint in her ends, and I'm trying to think what we were doing with it. Oh yes, I went in with the Stroke 8.9 Magma as a highlight, because it was heavily tinted and it was dark hair and it was going to give me a battle. And I was doing back home waves and back home balayage, and you know, I was just trying to get lift into it because it was so dark. So I was just doing pure technique, no background, pure technique. And I used 8.9 at the back. So I was at the back and I was doing back home waves and then zigzags and baby lights, and you know, I was throwing the boat at it. I mean, I was nearly an hour behind because of this one client, but I didn't get any lunch because of this one client. You know, you always get one client a day you don't get any lunch from because of it. But I got up to the back. I got the back done, and then I just opened up the bottom one, and it looked like it was lifting a little bit, and I thought, oh, that's okay. And then I opened up the one in the middle, and it wasn't lifting at all. Okay, it wasn't lifting, not one bit. And I'd used it with pastel. So I that was okay, because if it lifted too much, or what was I going to do? I was going to end up with like white highlights against a black background, which I couldn't work with, you know what I mean? So that was cool. So I went back, I mixed up 8, 9 plus and 4%, and I went back through the packets and I just painted 8, 9 plus and 4% on it. And I mean, that's how to kick through all the time. And then I went and I started the front and I used 8, 9 plus and pastel. And so it was a choice I'd made. I thought the 8, 9 would get me there. It didn't. That was just that whatever colour was in her hair was more resistant than I thought. Hiya, Sasko. How's it going? I'm a huge fan of your work, sir. Absolutely huge fan of your work. Love your work. I follow you immensely, and you're terrific. You're an amazing hairdresser. I have my own salon, Sasko. I have my own salon. But I love your work. You're amazing, sir. Amazing. Welcome to the hair community here that we work from, and you're terrific. Thanks for coming on live. I'm a big fan. Love your work. Love your work. So I then used the 8, 9 plus, and that got me there. And then afterwards, then I rinsed her, and I didn't have them. I used the Magma Colour Complete pHer, which I don't have with me. I'll bring it home for me tomorrow. Left it on, and then I melted her with 797 into 997. And you know the way it's quite a heavy tone, and because our background was dark, I was looking at it thinking this is going to be too dark. You know, this is going to be too dark. You know how it is as hairdressers. It's too light, it's too dark, it's too this, it's too that. I was going through that in my head. I was going, oh God, bad choice. Too light, too dark. But when it was blow dried, it was perfect. You know, I was like, oh God, it's too light. Oh God, it's too dark. Oh God, it's not this. Oh God, oh wait a minute, it's good. Oh, it's brilliant. I was a man after spending 2.5, 3 hours of my life. She was a new client as well. You know, you can all Magmas with the same shade 1.9. This is very, very true. And like you can I could have toned anyway. I could have done relights. I could have done anything I wanted. This was the choice I'd made. You know, and Jane's a big fan of Magma, and she's absolutely brilliant with it. You'll see many of them on our page. And as I say, we'll spend the day together, and we'll have a love in then, Jane. We'll have a love in about free lights, and we'll have a love in about Magma, and we'll have a cup of tea, and then we'll have a chat, and then we'll have another thing, and sure, we'll have them all on. We'll have an off. We'll have a great bit of crack, you and me. Okay, so that's my recommendation. You hate that. It's always a part of it. I miss Wella, Andrew. Sasko, well, we're always here for you, sir. We're always here for you. You'll find if you're on this page for any length of time, you'll have Wella back in your shop. Hi, Leandro. There's one of the biggest award-winning hairdressers of all time on the page. 7-time Trend Vision winner. Leandro, absolute genius. Nobody puts a competitive look together like him. Genius. Welcome. And Jane, you know, we still have that day. We'll have that day ahead. And this is where you can't, what I'm talking about here is that you can't guarantee 100% guarantee 100% results with clients. Now, then, or ever. Okay? Because you just don't know what's exactly inside somebody's hair, okay? You don't know the level of elomelanin, which is the blue pigment, the level of philomelanin, which is the warm pigment. A hair is a little granule, okay? It's a little tiny granule that you need to look under a microscope. And I'm John Lalco here, who is a fabulous chemist, sends me these amazing messages. He's going to help bring some of these stuff to us and help us with it on the page. But Andrew needs to come to Australia. Of course I'll come to Australia. But I need to have somebody fabulous to mind my salon for me first. And so if the right person arrives, well, then I'll go on tour. You know what I mean? Definitely go on tour. And I'll bring me kids out. I'll bring me kids out. I'll have them homeschooled. Travel with me, you know. One of my best mates was homeschooled, and he's like a multi-millionaire. So I'm all for that. I'm off that. But you have this little granule, okay? And when you look at an underlying pigment shade chart, it is a guide. Okay? And in different parts of the world, there's different amounts of Elomelanin, different amounts of phelomelanin, okay? We don't know. So when you open up that granule, boom, when that granule opens up, that's when you know how much elomelanin is and how much phelomelanin is. Now that pigment has burst open. There's no way to close that pigment again. So you have to work with whatever it opens. So to guarantee that you're not going to have warmth coming out, it is an impossibility, because you don't know the level of elomelanin. You can look into their eye colour, and usually from the rings of their eyes, or if they've green eyes, or if they've dark eyes, or from their skin. Like, you can take a good estimation. That's like people like me, because we're years in the game, we're able to look at people and probably go, I hate the word pull worm, but she's gonna have a lot of phelomelanin in her hair, which is what we see on the page as she pulls warm. Oh my God, she pulls warm. It just means she has more phelomelanin than she has elomelanin. Elomelanin is the blue one, phelomelanin is the blonde one. So where Spiel is from, most people have a lot more elomelanin, and where I'm from, in good old Ireland, it's phelomelanin all day long. What are you having? I'm having phelomelanin. What are you having? He's having phelomelanin. All day long, we're dealing with that. So when you open up that granule, you have to deal with what's there. And the underlying guide is just a guide. So there is no guarantee. Every human being's DNA is completely and utterly unique to that person. So to 100% guarantee results at any time, don't trust anyone who gives you 100% guarantees in anything in life. You will do your best to get them there, but there is no guarantees until you open that hair up. Nobody really knows that the level of what we know as calling underlying pigments. Nobody really knows. You can look for the red nature as much as you want. You can look, you can see. I've seen naturally blonde people, and I've opened up their hair, and it's been as warm. You know, it's been as warm as the gates of hell. You know what I mean? And again, because it's the fine texture of the hair, it can break down really quickly. There's so many parts to it. And then most of the hair is already covered with copper from the water, minerals. You're trying to get through all that. Sometimes a pre-lightener or a bleach spends 20 minutes sitting on the outside of the hair, just getting through the minerals that are on the outside of the hair from the cheap shampoos, the crap conditioners, all the silicone stuck to their hair, dirty water. You could spend 20 minutes just getting through that before you've even started to lighten the hair, and then we have that she pulls warm. Okay, there's no guarantees in life. There is just no guarantees 100% of what you're going to get into. And the thing to try and work on is your technique, okay? Because the one thing you can guarantee is if you do somebody and you face frame them beautifully, if you don't get there with the colour, you can melt them out and tone them beautifully, and the technique will get you there. And so many people don't put enough work into their technique, and you'll see people like Jane here on the page who spends, nearly all of you on the page, years perfecting their technique, years and years and years and years perfecting their technique, okay? And if the technique is right, Jane will tell you, Tracy will tell you, Martha, anyone will tell you, if your technique is good, you will, you're halfway there. But you cannot ever guarantee, different countries, the oxidization, the warm pigments, but there's so many things that you have to take into consideration that you just have to do. You have to do your best, okay? You should do your best, but you could be 20 minutes just removing the silicones and the water and the copper before you've even got to their hair, okay? You'll see so many people who clarify beforehand. I mean, it'll probably come to that at some stage where we're going to have to clarify everything because the water's so dirty and the water's so bad, but I don't know, but you cannot guarantee if you mix up a 9-1 and a 9-8 on a base 7, will it lift perfectly 2 shades to that? Yes, you would hope it would, but can you guarantee that? No, you can't. So you might have to tone with relights. You understand what I mean? And that's okay. You do what you have to do. Don't get upset about it. Don't manage it well. Talk to clients. Be straight with them. Be honest with them. Tell them the truth. They totally get it. And you know what? They'll most likely then start to buy good shampoos. They'll start to buy good conditioners. And they'll start to use water-soluble silicones. And, your job will get easier and they're aware of it. But to think that something is just, you put this on and this happens. Every human being is unique, and until that granule is opened up, nobody knows the level and the amount of... I mean, we shouldn't have to clarify, Martha, but we do. It's just the way the water is. It's a terrible indiction on the governments and the people we have around the world that we get this thing called rain that falls from the sky, and it's poisoned coming from the sky, and that it has to be cleaned so much better and our governments are fighting over stupid stuff. It really is. Under promise is right. Exactly. But so many things if your technique is right, and there's so many different techniques out there. You don't just have to do baby lights. You can do baby lights, you can do zigzags, you can do back comb weave, you can do back comb balayage, you can do shapes, you can do pyramids, you can do boxes, you can do circles, you can do C-section highlights, you can do C-shaped slices, you can do slices and weaves, you can do slices, weaves and baby lights, you can do zigzags, baby lights, slices, weaves, balayage, all into one head. You can create shapes, movements. The only thing stopping you is your level of training. And I use the eye colour all the time, Angela. And if they have a yellow ring or a red ring, I'm always like, this is gonna be warm. This is gonna be warm. But there's so many things you can do technique wise. Warm skin and cool eyes. I like cool. That's what. Alexa, that's one of my favourite looks on a woman is warm skin and blue eyes. Some of the girls from Slovenia or some of the areas where they have real sallow skin and blue eyes. Oh, I love them. I like cool colours on them, But they do, Alexa, they do have a tendency to have fine hair, which is harder to break down. And then when you break it down, they do tend to have a fair bit of phyllo melanin, a bit more than you would you like to do a Sunday service on skin tones? We'll do a Sunday service on skin tones, okay? For sure. I'll bring home some stuff and we'll do a whole... We'll do a Sunday service on skin tones. Yet again, Martha, you come up trumps every time. I think Martha for president. Martha for president of Sunday service. I don't think Sunday service would work without it, They do have a tendency to have very fine hair, and then when you open it up, it's very tightly packed and it tends to just go boom. And you're dealing with a lot of warmth. We had you'll see the pink one we put up during the week. She's a Russian girl with blue eyes, sallow skin, and her hair lifts. Yeah, Martha for president. Yeah, you're terrific. Martha, you're just a great part of Sunday service. You're a huge contributor, and it's the word co-creation. It's all you guys here being with me. You're just absolutely amazing. But technique is the key so many times, because you cannot guarantee that you're going to get there with your colour. You may have to tone, you may have to do different things, but if your technique is flawless, if your technique is perfection, that will get you there. Your technique you can guarantee. Your technique you can refine. Your technique you can get better at every day. Technique. Okay? So many people are just looking to colours for the answers. And as I've said to you tonight, I hate to burst your bubble, but every human being on this planet is unique, and you do not know how much phyllo melanin, how much elo melanin they have until you open up that granule. Nobody does, and every human being's different. So you can't guarantee what you're going to work with your colours and what you're going to have to do. You have to hope, you have to work with the best, and you have to diagnose as best you can before you go in. Diagnosis is key. Like, you go to a good doctor, they will diagnose and go looking for the pain. They'll look in the eyes. Don't be afraid to look at the client in their eyes. Don't be afraid to look at their skin tone. don't be afraid to ask them a little bit about their hair. Don't be, or just say, I'd say you've always had a difficulty with it going warm, and they say, oh, you've no idea, and they'll tell you, and you can say to them, well, that's because you have this red ring in your eye, or you have this gold ring in your eye. They're like, really? I'm going, yeah. I say, nobody really knows how much warmth they have in their person's hair until you open them up. You can have a black haired person, their hair can be red underneath. You don't know, and they get it, and then they're willing to go on a journey with you, they're willing to go on a journey with you, and they'll connect to you, so don't be afraid to look into somebody's eyes. Look at them face on when you're doing a consultation. Have a look in their eyes, have a look at their skin, have a look at their hair, have a look at how much hair they have from here to here. So many women have loads of hair, but they've no hair here. They've no hair here at the front of their hair. It's so fine, it's so fragile. And you need to say to them, you need to keep really strong highlights through the sides and the back and the top of your hair. But around the front of your hair here, you need to be really gentle. And in fact, if you could go without any highlights here, it'd be much better for your hair in the long run. Now, they nearly fall over when you say something like that to them. But then you talk to them, and you show to them how much hair they have from here to here, and they're like, they get it really quite quickly. They get it and they understand it, and you know what, they'll never leave you. They'll never leave you when they see that you're invested. So many women have less than 20% of their hair from here to here, and they've so much at the back and they've so much everywhere else, but their front hairline and stuff like that needs to be protected, and it needs to be minded, and it would be the last place that you would do. So if you look at, see you, Sherry, I'll see you next week, babe. Hiya, Chris, how's it going? So if you look really into their eyes, and look, really, really closely into their eyes, you'll get an idea. Talk to them. Have a good consultation. This is when you, like, how we work in our salon is everybody we do a skin test and a consultation on. So we have a good chat about warm or blue eyes, or or brown eyes, or what works, and we'll talk to them about golds if they've got Cello skin, and we'll talk to them about dustier browns if they've got browner eyes, and we'll have a really good chat with them, and you'll connect with the client, and they will understand the science behind it quite easily, and they will work with you, and you will work with them, and you will have a client for life. And then she will go home and tell her friends, well, actually I go warm because I've got this colour in my eyes, and Andrew told me this, and she'll be delighted to know, you know what I mean, she'll be delighted. But to really understand that there is no guarantees, okay, there is no guarantees. The only thing you can guarantee is your technique. So work on your technique, and there's so many techniques out there: zigzag, backcomb weave, backcomb balayage, baby lights, slices, C slices, there's different sectioning patterns. Then you can go straight up the hedge, you can pivot to the side of the hedge, you can go in diagonal, you can go in horizontal, you can go in straight, there's so much things you can do technically. And if you learn and refine all that, and I really feel we need on the page to even up our game technically a little bit more. Tonight I'm impressed with you, the forecast. Hi Jenny, how's it going? Salas, yeah, I don't know what, earlier I was feeling a bit tired, but I'm okay now. Maybe it's because Liverpool won. Totally unexpected. I've never felt so welcome. Marta, I'd be lost without you. You're an absolute gem. And I'm not going to go into the psychological stuff tonight that I usually go into. I'm going to keep them for next week. I have things about the flow, because it's quite a long one to go into the flow. And I've things about receiving, which we're going to go into the flow and receiving and stuff like that. But we've gone through a lot of that tonight. What I will say, and I've been doing this, is just one that I'll throw in that I've been doing every day, and I feel it's so simple, but I feel it's showing up for me, and it's kind of working for me. But consultation is the key, and please guys, let's all work on our. We can't guarantee the type of hair. We can't guarantee the lift. But we can guarantee the technique. We can work on their skin. We can work on their eyes. We can work on their vocal points. We can protect their hair around the front if they don't have as much hair. We can. So it could be skin, eyes, hair, vocal points, bone structure. Look at Jennifer Anderson. Like she has a really strong highlight through here to offset her chin, because she hasn't got the best chin in the world. But her highlight just frames her face perfectly. She's changed her hair 1,000,000 times. in the last 10-15 years. I'm just watching her new show, the broadcast show, and it's really quite good. I'd recommend it. But she's never changed the technique. They've always kept a face frame. She's the original face frame, you know, around the front of her, and it was framed for her face. So she has changed her colour a million times, but the technique, which is absolutely flawless, has always been strong and been structured. So if her hair was warmer, or if it was lighter, or if she went blonder, or if she went darker, her technique, her face frame, the shape of the highlights for her face were constant. It's the same with Meg Ryan's. It's the same with any of them, you know, that they'll have that, you know, they have a shadow root, or they have, you know, there's something about it that works to make, you know, you'll have the brightest area around where their mouth is, or, you know, Giselle always around here. Sarah Jessica Parker always started at her eyebrow because she didn't want to bring her forehead into play because she's a big forehead. You know, all this is technique. So people get so het up about colour, but technique is absolutely everything, and we need to really, it's like a call to action on the page, to really work on, let's get in our technique out of control good. If somebody has a big forehead, if you put a huge face frame up there, you're going to make their forehead look too big, obviously, because that's where your eye's going to go to. You're going to look at the face frame, and then you're going to look at their big forehead. So if you started the face frame here, it will be much better on their face shape. Okay, so that's visual, and that's technique, and it has nothing to do with colour. It has everything to do with you being a visual artist, okay? And we are visual artists. So, you know, that's a real call to action at the moment for us to look at our technique. Because so many people, I want this and I want that and I want the other, and their technique is not near where it needs to be. And let's work on our technique. Let's work on our face first. So start asking questions about face shapes, bone structure, skin tone, eye colour, what's going to suit us. Let's really control what we can control, and what we can control is our technique, and understand that you cannot really control the underlying pigment of what's going to come out in somebody's hair. But if your technique is flawless, everything else will flow. Big Bruce Forsyth chin. I have a big Bruce Forsyth. I love a chin. Ooh. You know, yeah, well, you know, I often go through it with clients. I go like Giselle, Sarah Jessica Parker, Cameron Diaz, lip, Sarah Jessica Parker, that young model, I can't think of her name, but she's a very small forehead, and then she has a big face frame, you know. So if you start working on these things, you'll get really excited. Work on your technique, look at every head, and think of it as slices, think of it as weaves, think of it as baby lights, think of it as back comb balayage, think of it as back comb weave, think of zigzag sections, think of straight sections, think of curved sections, think of C-shaped sections. There is so much that we need to be looking at. There's so much that we need to be doing. And this group is going to go through the roof now, because we're going to start working on technique on top of everything else. You know, on top of having the best products in the world, we're also going to be technically incredible as well. And that you'll relax a little bit. If your technique is incredible, you'll relax a little bit if you about your colours not always getting there. You know, as I said to me, I was halfway through the head the other day and the 8-9 wasn't getting there. I didn't get upset. I was more concerned about the technique. So every section I did a baby light, and then I went back and did a back comb weave. Good game, good game. He had some girlfriends though, Bruce Forsyth. I mean, he got the birds. Bruce got the birds, you know. He was the ultimate professional. You know, I've done a good few TV over the years, and a certain broadcaster who I won't mention, and I was doing the morning show. I was doing it was like the lady came on at 6 o'clock, and I had to have the colour ready by 6 o'clock. And I used to do this every Tuesday with my good mate Shay Dempsey, the global director of Sebastian. And it was a tough gig, but we used to do it. It used to get us so many clients. I mean, I'm talking, Jesus, like, you know, the phone would ring all Tuesday and Wednesday. We worked in this famous salon called Zoo, and if we did a good Tuesday makeover on the morning show, we booked the salon out for 2 or 3 weeks, you know, and we were very good at it. You know, I have a vision then, see how to create it. Very good, Angela, very, very, very good. But back to the Bruce Forsyth thing. This guy wouldn't even look at you, Wouldn't even talk to you, wouldn't even know you. And then the minute the camera went action, he spoke to you like he was his world's best friend, you know. What he spoke to you like, Andrew, how are you? Great to see you. Now, he wouldn't have said a word to you. And it was only about a couple of weeks in that I actually, the penny dropped with me. He was a consummate professional. So he used to keep his energy for the camera and the people at home, and he wouldn't even look at me. He'd keep his energy for the shoot. And I believe Bruce Springsteen was the king, or Bruce Forsyth. Jimmy Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Forsyth was the same. You know, that you'd hardly get a word out of him. But once the camera went red light and he was in front of it, he was a genius. And he certainly got the birds over the years. So he used to have an L syrup of figs on, didn't he? He used to have a wig, didn't he? Oh, God, it looked like a wig to me. And an old chin, but it didn't have a problem with him getting the birds. So it goes back to these things we talk about the way we see ourselves in life, you know, the way we see ourselves. You know, you can sort of say to yourself, like, Bruce obviously saw himself as a really handsome, you know, good looking man, and no problem, you know, and there you go. Wish I could dare talk to the camera. Listen, Jane, I'll do a course with you, okay, Jane? I'll do a course with you called Pocket Mastery, you know. I do a course that I do for a few people. And I did something with somebody last week who was doing Facebook's lives for it was a fishing community, and he wasn't sure about Facebook lives, and somebody got him to contact me, and I met up with him, and I did a pocket mastery course on how to on how I think you be authentic and how to make it work. And he's doing his first live tomorrow night. So if it goes well, the information I gave him and he follows what I tell him to do, if that works well, then, you know, you and me will sit down, and then I'll do a barter with you. I'll teach you that, and you can give me a day's balayage, and we'll go live all day. Sure, but by the end of the day, you'll be moonwalking and everything. You know what I mean? I'm very lucky here that I have some of the nicest hair community in the world on the page, and so I'm very lucky that I have a lovely audience to work with, you know, and that I do hanging out there some Sundays, and you guys tend to let me go there. Yes, yeah, let's see how he gets on. I gave him 7 things he has to do before he goes live, and if he does them, he'll be talking about fish tomorrow night. So let's see how it goes. Whichever way you do it, working cameras talk or not. Heather, great to see you, babes. Great to see you. I had a few grey gooses. You'd be glad to know the old grey goose is back. It's back in the game. The Pinot is gone, and the grey goose is back. I had 2 large ones last night, and I was a bit jarred. I won't lie to you. I was a little bit jarred. But this is a call to action about technique, okay? Let's control the things we can control. You can't always control how people's hair takes, but you can control your technique. So let's work on that. Let's work on different techniques. Let's talk to each other about it, and you know, let's talk about different techniques. You know, I'm going now. Goodbye. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, all the Wella family. Thank you, guys. Yes, I'm on long enough now because I'll keep the psycho stuff for next week. I have some really nice stuff. But I will say, I have been saying to myself every morning as I'm walking to work, except for last week, there was 2 days it was raining, and I'm still doing the walking. My techniques are right across the board. They're not, you know, the techniques are based on the face shape. Good question, but they're based on the face shape, bone structure, skin tone, eye colour, and mostly the haircut, you know, to be honest, you know, mostly the haircut. I have been walking to work, and I have been sort of saying to the sky, to the universe, that I am open to receiving something today, and every day something showed up. You know, now it could have been just something small, but I was able to see it showing up. So if you're doing your little walk this week, or if you're out and about and you're up one thing in the morning, just say to yourself, yes, 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 I'm open to receiving something this week. I'm back in the pool. I'm open to receiving. Thank you very much. And when you do get something, you receive it, say thank you for more, please. I won a tenner on a lotto and I won this and I got this other thing. And all these little things started to show up, you know. You know, just these little things, because a lot of things are just mindsets. So give that one a go. If you're going for your little walk in the morning, just say to yourself, yes, yes, I'm open to receiving today, universe. If you want to send me something today, I am open to receiving it. And if you receive it, say, thank you very much, universe. More, please. More, please. Okay? Because we get to want what we want in this life, you know. And receiving, to being open to receiving, we do forget sometimes that we actually do have to be open to receive, because in hairdressing we give. You saw Sonia Dove's video yesterday about how much we give to people and how much we give to hairdressing and how we don't take care of ourselves. And I am going to do a Sunday service on radical self-care, about how to take care of yourself, because I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't take care of myself. So, but that's all coming this week. All about technique, all about Blonde D'Or. How lucky we are to have the Blonde D'Or family. How lucky we are to have all these incredible products. And my particular favourite, bucket. I love these. They are just super sonic. Super sonic, you know. So receiving can be everything, Marta. It can be just receiving love. It can be receiving laughter. It can be receiving money. It can be receiving smile from a stranger. It can be everything. And Sonia is one of the true leaders. And when I started off my online career, I met Sonia in Monaco. And Sonia is very important to our industry. She's an authentic person. And if you didn't get a chance to watch the video, look it up. It's on the page. Look for Sonia Dove. Watch the video. Give it a like. Give it a love, because we need as many Sonia Doves. And get out there, the Beast Blonde D'Or. Yeah, get out there and look to receive laughter, receive, give. Everything is lovely, Angela. Nice little break. Everything is important, but just say it yourself in the morning. Say it to yourself in the morning. Yes, and something will arrive, and thank the universe for it. Because there's no problem with hairdressers and giving. That's our whole life is giving. Okay, beautiful Sunday. I really enjoyed the Blonde D'Or this week. It was really amazing. Thanks, Marta, again. It was just super. It was super to be able to give to something that's been so good to me all my career. Blonde D'Or has been so good to me all my career. Hey, John, and love to you all, guys. Have a lovely. Make sure to watch Sonia Dove's video, and make sure to give it some likes and some loves. We love Sonia. She's authentic, and she's right. She now is working from the heart. And she said she's never been happier. And I spoke to you about alignment with the head and the heart, and we'll go through that again. And I was talking to Sonia about that too, you know. So love to you all. Happy Sunday. Happy Blonde D'Or Sunday. Have a great day. And let's start thinking about things we can control, which is technique. And let's make ourselves the best colourists in the world, which we are, because we have the best products. So let's us do the rest, okay? Love to you all. See you next week. Take it easy. Take it easy, Mary. Take it easy, guys. I'm open to receiving a basket from Geneva. Yeah, you know, that you never know. I'm here. I'm here. Good night, everybody. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Take it easy. Thanks a million. See you on the page.